Hello and welcome to the Philippines. I recently did a video about some of the issues I had using a money transfer service as well as using ATM machines that weren't very cooperative. And that brought up a lot of comments from you out there, and I'm gonna go over some of the issues about money, about exchange rates, about transfer services, and I think under the present circumstances that we're on worldwide, here in 2020, many issues are cropping up that wouldn't normally crop up, and I've read some reviews online. I've got a lot of information to share with you, a lot of experiences that other people have had, and I'll give you some warnings there as well. First of all, if you're traveling overseas, you're definitely going to want to bring some money with you, and if you bring more than 10,000 US into the Philippines, many other countries as well, probably, you have to declare that money. You can bring more in, but you need to declare it. And anyway, at some point in time, you're going to need additional money. Now, you need to tell your bank before you leave that you're going to be traveling out of the country. Tell your credit card companies, your banks, that you're going to be out of the country, so that hopefully your credit cards and your debit cards will work in other countries. Now, I know a number of expats who've told me that they did that, but their cards did not. In fact, a couple of my friends, their cards initially did not work here in the Philippines because the bank didn't throw that switch, that software switch for their account, and they had to call back. Took them a couple of days to get that straightened out. You want to try your debit card, your credit cards out relatively early on if you're going to use them. Make sure that they are working. And don't wait like some people I know that waited till they were pretty much that last day or two when they needed cash and then they couldn't get it. End up using a credit card which had foreign transaction fees and a high interest rate to pay back. The Philippines is still primarily a cash society, although they're trying to get more into digital payments. But it's going to be a while, so you're going to be carrying around quite a bit of cash. Some hotels, many of the hotels, resorts, some restaurants take credit cards, but many do not. And I've been traveling where I've had to go and find an ATM. I thought I planned well in advance, had plenty with me, but after finding out that some of the hotels and resorts I stayed at did not accept credit cards, I was looking for additional cash as I was traveling. One trip I actually had to cut short because there were no additional ATMs on the island for me to get cash. Anyway, you can use the ATM machines. Not all ATM machines accept foreign bank cards. Not all machines accept the type of whatever network your card belongs to. So be sure to be aware of that. Exchange rates from the different countries' currencies fluctuate daily. I'm just going to show you a U.S. chart to give you some ideas of what's been happening the last 5 and 10 years here. This is a 5-year chart, USD to the Philippine peso, not the Mexican peso, Philippine peso. I came in at the start of this chart. I first came to the Philippines in 2015, way to the left there, and it was about 45. It was about 45.5 when I first came in here, and bounced around there for a while. Went up to about 54 for a while last year, and then it's coming back down. Now, I'd read an article the other day. The financial expert here in the Philippines think it's going to level off by the end of the year to be about 50 and a half, 50 and a half pesos to the US dollar. So, of course, depending upon the country and your currency, you can check online. Just do a search for your currency versus the Philippine peso. And here's a 10-year chart, so it gives you a little bit of an idea. We're on a little bit on the higher end. When they first set this up originally, I think over 100 years ago, I think they set it right at 50 pesos to the US dollar. So it's not too far from there. I think it's like 49 and a half, something like that. Now, depending upon how you transfer money, you will get different rates depending upon the company that you use if you're transferring money. Now, ATMs are convenient, but it's not unusual for them to be under maintenance, offline, out of cash. Mine the other day, two of them, I tried three of them, never did get cash. Two of them took my card, took a long time to give me my card back. The one gave me a receipt saying that it was unable to dispense cash. When I'd gotten home, I received an email from my bank saying that my bank card had been used and deducted cash from my account. I called my bank and they said that I was lucky because it had already been credited back into my account. But I've heard from a number of people that commented on that video that they they didn't get their cash and they're still waiting a week, 2 weeks later. They're still waiting for the Philippine bank to credit that money back into their banks. So that can be an issue, especially if you're on a tight budget. So be very, very careful. How can you be careful? I'm not sure. I would say be sure to get your cash at least a week before you need it, and have a second plan. Have some cash someplace availability if you need to use credit card, whatever you need to do to get the cash. If a machine takes your card and it takes you a week, it's over the weekend. It might take you a week to get that card back. Have a plan B for emergency cash. Now, when you use an ATM here, most ATMs will allow you, many of the banks will allow you 10,000 per transaction, 10,000 pesos. I think BPI will allow 20 or 25,000. I think HSB, and I've been told China Bank will allow 40,000 pesos per transaction. Uh, HSB is one of the few banks that doesn't charge 250 peso fee. Every other bank that I know of charges 250 pesos, about $5 every time you use that ATM. Your own bank is going to charge you that as well. Now, the one good thing, if you have a Charles Schwab account, which you can have if you're in the USA, they refund you all of your ATM charges, and that can add up. I have a friend, I think he gets like 30 or 40 bucks back each month, something like that. Now you'll find it a constant battle trying to keep smaller bills on hand. Many places will tell you they don't have change. Taxis and other small little restaurants, different places tell you we don't have change for 1,000. That's about 20 US dollars, or even the 500. They'll constantly be asking you, do you have something smaller? Do you have something smaller? So you need to find those places. McDonald's is a good place usually to hand them 1,000 and get some change. Some of the pharmacies usually have change, but a lot of places don't. And I've had to stand and wait for 10 minutes while they run someplace to get change from somebody else. More and more, I've been using money transfer services, and I've used Remitly once. And then they shut me down. And I hear this story about there's lots of reviews online about all these companies because there's a lot of fraud using money transfer services. Western Union, Zoom, Remitly, World Remit. Many of them, there's stories where they were using them for a number of years or even a couple times, worked fine, they're happy with it. They do another transfer and the company tells them, you're locked out of this account, you're shut down. We think it's a fraudulent account. So there again, have a plan B. And I used World Remit. Sent me 1,000. I'm going out the door, and they sent me an email saying canceled. Canceled, and I called them. They said we can't tell you why, but your account is closed. Each money transfer service that you use will have agents in the different countries, different cities, and you need to be aware to find out where they are. Make sure you have a place that you can pick up cash. Now, many of them also offer bank account to bank account transfers. Some specialize in certain parts of the world, others different places. Now, I use Zoom, which is owned by PayPal, and after reading some reviews of some of the others now, it's convenient. It always works for me, and I have my money almost instantaneously, and I can either send it myself or somebody else. They can pick it up almost instantaneously. I can send myself U.S. dollars, which I usually do if I'm in the city, because not every place has U.S. dollars. If I accept U.S. dollars and then trade them into the Philippine pesos, it generally saves me some money rather than getting the lower exchange rate for Philippine pesos when I send money. It saves me $20 or $30 depending upon how much I send. Um, some of these places have banks where you can pick it up. Banks generally take a little bit longer. They have, I think, requirements, more paperwork, and so I usually go to a Lujulier, Cebuano, a Palawan, a LBC. Like I said, this is a cash society, so there's lots of people sending cash all the time within the Philippines. Here's a Palawan pawn shop there on every other corner almost in many towns and cities. And I used those because another place I tried to use was offline. For about 30 minutes, they tried getting the acceptance information, and they couldn't. So I finally went down the road to the next place, and they were having issues. So I went down the road to the next place, I believe LBC. So there are options, but don't wait until you're running out of money to do that. Like I said, there can be issues. They can be offline. There can be issues with the transfer company. Now, I did several searches online for money transfer services and the best money transfer services, and found a number of sites. And I think some of them, of course, they make money from advertising, and if you link through their site, they get paid for referrals, that type of thing. But anyway, come across this site, Consumer Affairs, and anyway, they've ranked a few, not that many, but they've ranked a few, and there's dozens and dozens of money transfer services out there. They don't all work in all countries, but anyway, Zoom is owned by PayPal, and I can sign in with my PayPal account, and anyway, they have a 2.5 star out of 5 star rating, and this is based on, I believe it's based on reviews. Only 204 reviews, so it's not that many. But reading through the reviews, of course, who writes reviews? People who have problems and issues over the years. Um, it's not the cheapest, but it is convenient and it works for me. And they gave Western Union, there again, based on almost 2,000 ratings, a little over 3 stars there. And I know a number of you have told me and made comments that you had Western Union, they shut you down. They thought you were a fraudulent account, and not only shut you down, but made it difficult or impossible for you to use any other. They report you apparently to other money transfer services as well. So that's a major issue if all of a sudden you can't do business with any of these companies. I used them many, many, many years ago, and I finally found that the information they wanted became a little bit burdensome, and so I started using other companies. MoneyGram seems to be very popular here in the Philippines. I see their name in a lot of these places. They get 1 star, and reading some of the reviews, not very good reviews by many people. Having money drawn out of their account, but the people never getting it, and taking forever and ever and ever to get their money back, try to get their money back. And anyway, if you want to go to this site, consumeraffairs.com, and read the reviews, you're welcome to do that. They are set up with Walmart as well. You can go to Walmart and send money through the MoneyGram. They also have a place in Walmart called RIA Financial Services, and there again, they've got 2 stars there, but you can read through some of the reviews. A little bit scary with many of these, because I think what's happening with the medical crisis around the world, these companies have cut back on their help, and they're operating at 50% or less of their staff, and they're having a difficult time handling things. If there's software issues, they don't have the people to, and their customer service people are cut way back. They don't have the technical people to deal with the issues, apparently, because there are many in the last couple months really scary reviews with many of these companies. TransferWise is a company that seems to be fairly popular here as well, and a number of you have used it, recommend it, and yet it only got a little over 1 star. And I think a lot of these, there again, I think they're very recent. Only 103 ratings here, and they advertise with this company as well. Um, but anyway, just issue. It's what's happening in the world economy right now. I think makes it more risky than ever. If you do a search for money transfer companies in your country, different ones will show up. Some that I've never heard of before showed up on some of the reviews site. I did a search for the best money transfer services. Anyway, come up with a number of sites, and they make some money off of advertising and selling their information. Anyway, this one is moverfocus.com, and just go down here, and I'm gonna also show you some reviews from another site and some of the different ones. Anyway, XE Money Service. You know, each company specializes in certain types of things. Some just do transfers domestically within certain countries. Some transfer to a few companies. Many transfer to many countries. Some are easier to set up your account online than others. Anyway, some will just do bank-to-bank transfers. Some will do cash pickup type things. Lots of different options, and that can change fairly quickly. So anyway, XE Money Transfer is number one. Was listed on another site as number one too. Got 5 out of 5 stars on their Trustpilot. Promotions vary from time to time too. Anyway, I have seen this name a couple places, money transfer type places, pickup spot. The next one, TorFX. I've never heard of it personally. They're based out of the UK, and I've never seen a store with that name on it for picking up here in the Philippines. So if you're interested in checking them out, go to their site and find out if they have agents here in the Philippines or wherever you want to send your money to. OFX, they listed as the third one. They have a number of offices around the world. Anyway, World First, I've never heard of those as well. Some of you in the UK, that's where their office is, you know a little more about them. The big complaint concerning World First is that as of February 2019, they no longer have operations in the United States and no longer serve online customers from the United States. TransferWise scored a 9.1 out of 10. Currency Fair, another one that's I've seen listed on 3 different sites like this, rating. I've never heard of them before, but they're out there and they're getting ratings. World Remit. I have heard of them, and I have I tried using them a year or so ago. Tried using them. I sent myself 1,000 US dollars, and I was headed out the door to pick it up, and I got another email said your transaction has been canceled. Called the company. They said yes, and this is very common in the as you read the reviews about the different companies. They will say that they made a transfer, it was approved, but the person on the other end never received it. They checked back with the company. They were told it was canceled, but nobody will tell them why it was canceled. They are considered a fraudulent account. Even many people who have dealt with companies over and over for many years, and all of a sudden they're just cut off. I've heard that from a number of subscribers about Western Union, about different companies. MoneyGram. MoneyGram is one of the biggest, I think, in the world, in the United States anyway. MoneyGram. And Walmart, that MoneyGram is one of the companies that you can send through Walmart there. Another one down here, Currencies Direct. I haven't heard of them. I haven't seen their name listed on any of the stores. The LBCs, the Palawan stores, all the other stores that do the transfers. And kudos go out to Matt here. He's the guy that wrote this, did the research, wrote this article. Another way to send money is a bank to bank account. If you have a bank account in the Philippines or wherever you're going to be moving or staying at. And here's, for instance, down there in the lower left-hand corner, Wells Fargo Express. Even here, this was not a bank, I don't think, but you could use their services to send from your bank, like Wells Fargo Express, to a pickup center like this. And not real certain of their fees, but you can check it out with your present bank as well, see what type of services they have. Some companies charge fees. A lot of companies will make money by, for instance, if the exchange rate is 50 to 1, 50 pesos to the $1, they might pay you a peso less, or a peso and a half, or 2 pesos less in the exchange rate. That's where they make their money. So be aware of that. You aren't going to get the top rate many places. Some places give you the higher rate, but they charge a fee. Just depends upon the company. Some have promotions sometimes. It's also possible to send money to a digital payment platform like Paymaya or Gcash. Google Pay is not the same as Gcash. Gcash is the Globe Cell company here in the Philippines. But there are many other ways that you can pay for goods and services, and you can send money. You can use one of these transfer services, send money onto those digital platforms, and then pay bills, pay taxes. They're slowly getting set up so that people don't have to carry cash. Of course, cash has germs on it, has forever and a day. One thing is certain, things are going to continue to change. What might work well for you today might not work well for you tomorrow. So first of all, take care of your business, getting your money before you actually need it. Plan ahead, have a plan B. These money changers on the street, there's lots of them out there. Generally, you get a couple pesos less for your money than you would in, let's say, a mall. One of the busier places. Also a little safer, I think, being in a mall where there's more security around. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.